it may not be easy to hear, but no mother sits at her baby shower as she's rubbing her big belly, opening onesies and bottle warmers, only to say, I hope my child has special needs. It doesn't happen. Our son was 3 years old. We knew he had a speech delay, but we thought if we got him in a preschool and we put him with other kids to socialize, he would catch up. About a month in, the teacher calls us in and says, you know it's more than just speech, right? Oh, yeah, of course, yes, we know. We didn't have a clue. Enter the world of special education. The research, the doctors, the endless internet surfing, the feeling of everything you don't know, and then when you think you're just getting empowered and think you can't get any worse, it gets worse. Our son was in first grade, and I get a call from the principal, not the school nurse. She says, he's a little off. Have you met him? Be serious. I want you to come and get him. I need you to take him to the doctor, but I want you to bring a friend with you. I thought, she's really overreacting, and I definitely wasn't taking her seriously. But God works in mysterious ways, and just because I wasn't taking her seriously, it doesn't mean he wasn't. My car was in the shop, and my husband works in Queens, so I called a friend. We go to pick him up. His eyes were a little glassy. He was a little quiet, but there were no major red flags. We get in the car. I sit next to him, and he has his first grand mal seizure. His little body convulsing next to me, his little skinny legs and arms flailing from side to side, and his big old noggin of blonde hair riddling. I was helpless, frozen, the longest 60 seconds of my life. When it stopped, in my heart, I thought we lost him. I had never seen a seizure before. I didn't know it was common for the body to go limp afterwards, normal to lose consciousness. I knew that my baby was hurting and I couldn't help him. We got to the hospital and I couldn't even lift him. I was a dead weight in complete shock. She scooped him up, ran in. Over the next 24 hours, he had 3 additional seizures. It was not fun. The body protects the patient with amnesia, so they have no memory of it. But as the person who gave birth to that patient, I was not afforded that amnesia. No parent should ever have to experience that. It will be something that stays with me forever. And again, it's not something you think about when you're putting a crib together. The next few years, they were kind of a blur, mental, physical exhaustion, except for this one vivid memory of this gut-wrenching experience. I bring Ryan to the park, I sit him in the swing next to all these other little kids, and I'm sure I'm gonna have mom talk. And I'm still shocked how quickly these other moms move their kids away from him, glancing back at him, sure they were gonna catch something. Ryan's ADHD, his epilepsy, it's not contagious. If you spend time with him, you're not going to get a speech delay or become intellectual disability. But I warn you, if you spend time with him, you'll catch his humor, his old man humor, his sincerity, his purity. Being a mom of a special needs child, you develop a thick skin pretty quickly. You see different sides of people, and hopefully you build your own community that can see and hear him. I remember the first day I really heard him. summer, every summer, register for my kids for the typical summer rec program. And we had dropped my daughter off, and I hear his little voice in the back seat, and he says, I want to go there. I want to be a real kid. I stayed focused on the road, filling up with tears. My heart sank, and I said, what? And he said, I just want to be a real kid like Sissy and go there and have fun. Well, that next day, they both went to summer rec. Yeah. It wasn't like it just happened, right? But I knew this was something that he needed. It took phone calls, working out logistics, mentally preparing for all the ways that it could go wrong. But I knew that he needed this. He needed this to feel like a real kid. And I needed this to become a real advocate. If you'll allow me a proud mom moment, at the end of summer rec, Ryan earned the Summer Rec Award. And if I hadn't learned enough from him, watching those kids as they celebrated him, I realized it wasn't just Ryan getting something out of being around typical peers, but they were gaining something from the experience of sharing a space with a kid like Ryan. I have cards. It was probably also at that moment when I realized if you don't ask for something, the answer is always no. So now I know it all. And I know nothing. I have learned so much over the years, whether from trial and error, sharing other people's experiences, and you just keep learning. I've advocated for the past 12 years for not only my children, but all children. I've had conversations. I've talked to everyone possible. I volunteer on a local, a regional level. It doesn't always prepare you. And life keeps you humble. We had a few quiet years. We think, it's good. We know what we're doing. And then Ryan turned 18 and realized, I don't know a blessed thing. We're not naive to his situation. We knew he's not going to college. He's not getting married. He's not exploring different careers. But it brings this whole clarity of what's next. How do we make sure he has a fulfilled life? How do we make sure he's happy? And how many sleepless nights thinking, who will take care of him when we die? But bless his heart, cutest thing ever, he tells us every day he's moving to Vegas, marrying a super hot model. We can come and visit Christmas and birthdays only if we bring presents. How and when do I tell him and break his heart? I know all three of my children have made me a better person. My older son, he made me less selfish. Our youngest and only girl, she brings out the gangster in me. If you have a girl, you know what I'm saying. What Ryan has given me is patience, resilience, strength, and unconditional love. I would give my own life for him to have an easier one. Let me be clear, I'm not asking for a different child. He is my world. You can relate like this. When your child is sick, maybe has a fever, and you rub their head and say, oh, I would do anything to take your pain away. Imagine living a whole lifetime of that. Struggles are struggles. Neurotypical, neurodiverse, everyone struggles. All these years later, and I'm still second-guessing all of my decisions. Some days I feel just as lost as the first day of his seizure. But there's this clarity in accepting that you don't know everything, and you don't need to. This is what I do know. I will always be there to protect him. I will always do whatever I need to do to lift him up. And whatever he needs, we will do it for him. Funny story. A few weeks ago, Ryan was going through something, and because of that, I was in my closet crying for about 40 minutes, thinking about all the ways I was failing my child. And then I get a text from a girlfriend, and she had been working on something, and it worked out, and I said, oh, great job, dropped a cute meme, so proud of you. And her response, my goal is always to impress you. Impress me? Who or why would anyone want to impress me? I'm a hot mess. I have index cards. But in a way, it's how I've gotten through parenting. Sharing with other people that don't know what they're doing. There's this strange beauty in accepting that it's okay not to know everything. I'm nothing special. I'm just a mom sharing her story. The whole story. The sad parts, the successes, the funny parts. I share the story for myself. I share it to hope that sharing it lets someone else know that they're not alone. I share it because maybe you can learn something from things we've gone through. I share it because someone shared something special with me that gets me through. Thank you.